Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We've said it many times that the truth and facts are the enemies of the SNP, and this, of course, has come back today to ultimately slap Humza Yousaf right in his big, contemptuous chops. He's made claims over the weekend at his rally. We call it a rally, but, pleases him to call it a rally. When 12 men and a dog turned up to watch him. And he made these extraordinary claims that various things about energy, basically, and the cost of living and whatever. And people have gone out and basically fact-checked him, which doesn't take long. The facts aren't hard to discover. In fact, they're so easy to discover, it makes you wonder why he would come up with such basic lies, because lies they are. Because either he honestly believes what he's saying, in which case he is completely delusional, or he knows full well that they are clear and utter horseshit. And I think it's probably both. But we'll have a look at this to show how those damnable facts keep getting in the way of a good political rant. What an idiot. Anyway, here goes. So Humza Yousaf is divorced from basic facts with energy and cost of the union claims. He's divorced from reality. That much is absolutely clear. So the first minuscule made nonsense claims at the Skexit rally at the weekend is now under fire from fact checkers and political opponents because he stands there, makes these claims, buns for elephants. He's telling his people what they want to hear, but it is complete and utter horseshit. It's absolutely ridiculous, the claims he's making. And any simple Google check would show him up to be either a liar or a fool, or both. Which he's both, isn't he? He's both, let's face it. Humza Yousaf has been told his claims about the cost of energy are divorced from basic reality following a recent rally from independents in Edinburgh. The SNP leader said, "The people of this country are not suffering from a cost of living crisis. They're suffering from a cost of union crisis." Now, I'm using that line where he says they're not suffering from a cost of living crisis. That's what he said. So whenever he uses the cost of living crisis, we can throw it back at him and say, no, you said there's no cost of living crisis. You said it. Your words. People are not suffering from a cost of living crisis. He went on to state, high energy bills in Scotland are entirely linked to the fact that we are not independent. Now, you don't even need to fact check that one. Common sense alone is enough to tell you that that is sheer BS. It is absolute rubbish. But among those to take issue was Sam Taylor from a pro-UK think tank, These Islands, who said, "This is straightforwardly false." Well, say it ain't so, Sam. Say it ain't so. He went on to detail lower than average costs for Scots in comparison with Great Britain. In other words, Scottish energy is actually cheaper than the UK average. Adding that the First Minister probably believes most of the stuff he says, but just because he believes it, of course, that doesn't make it true. If wishes were horses, we'd have a different government in Scotland. A Scottish Tory Shadow Finance Secretary, Liz Smith, said, Humza Yousaf either knows this is nonsense or is so divorced from the basic facts that he has no business holding office. I agree with her, and I think it is he has no business holding office because he is delusional if he believes them, and he's a liar if he doesn't. And if he's a liar, he shouldn't be in office either way. She said every developed country has been going through the cost of living crisis, mainly prompted by the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, and of course the subsequent energy price spike thereof that came. She said Scotland, despite a higher deficit and tax rate than the rest of the UK, benefits hugely from being in that partnership and from the largest block grants ever, worth about £2,000 for every Scot. Every Scot gets through grantage £2,000 per person more than the average person in the rest of the UK. Imagine how bad your lives would be without that £2,000 per person. So here's the brown man speak with forked tongue, as the Native Americans wouldn't say. In energy, Scotland's unit prices and standing charges are lower than the average for the rest of Britain. And in any case, they have nothing whatsoever to do with independence, which Humza Yousaf knows would impose huge extra costs on every Scottish household. But of course, this is what they do. They create division. They have the othering. They blame the other. And then they tell you of this utopia that will be achieved if only you'll go along with them. It's exactly the same playbook as used in the 30s by the National Socialists in Germany. And so the Scottish National Socialists are doing the same thing. Only here, the other, instead of the Jew, is the English. But imagine all these things he's saying about the English. Just change the word English to Jews. And he's no different. He's no different. I'm surprised they don't start having brown shirts at these marches. I wouldn't put that past them either. There'll be a Kristallnacht soon in Edinburgh. Mr. Yousaf told the BBC News, this cost of living crisis... Wait a minute, you said there wasn't a cost of living crisis. Anyway, this cost of living crisis is actually a cost of Westminster crisis. No, it's not. He said the suffering that you're having to endure with high energy bills, lowest in Britain, being fuel poorer, the biggest energy reserves in Britain, in an energy rich country like Scotland, that is entirely linked to the fact that we're not independent. Nothing to do with independence. And boy, if you think it's bad in Scotland now, think how much worse it would be with independence, where you weren't getting all that extra money from Westminster, where 60% of your NHS wasn't being paid by Westminster, and where you had people like him controlling every single aspect of your lives. It's a nightmare that doesn't bear thinking about. These islands pointed out that Scots currently pay a unit rate of electricity of 30p every kilowatt, compared to 35p every kilowatt in the Republic of Ireland. The average cost for both North and South Scotland, moreover, are lower than the average cost across Great Britain as a whole. And Mr. Taylor also compared standing charges with Ireland and revealed that urban households pay the equivalent of 260 per annum, while rural households stump up 326. The average standing charge in Scotland will be 61 pence a day from next month, which equates to 222 per annum, and therefore standing charges for electricity are also substantially higher in Ireland than in Scotland. And I'm paying 72p a day, I believe it is. So my standing charges are way, way higher than those in Scotland. So this man is either a deluded fool, a complete liar, or both. And I think it's both. And I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He's going down the National Socialist line of creating division and talking about utopias. Like I say, it's a recipe for disaster. It's the recipe for a totalitarian single-party state. And I'm surprised he hasn't started introducing a Stasi-like force to ensure complete compliance with everything they do. That will be definitely on the cards should Scotland go independent. I'll stop now and come up. We'll leave the liar to his little pack of lies. People need to be very, very aware of the SNP, because a Freudian slip. It was a genuine Freudian slip, but it weren't far off the mark, was it? People need to be genuinely aware of the SNP, because everything they do is ulterior motive. It isn't all the push for independence. Independence is not the final goal of these people. A totalitarian state is the final goal. You will comply. You will be under the jackboot. They're increasingly becoming, the fascist state that they absolutely want to be. And of course, it's not surprising, because they are based on the National Socialists. Their whole setup was based on that. When they set themselves up, they were shaping themselves. And indeed, they had members, early members of the SNP were actually members of that National Socialist Party. And of course, it was only a few years ago they actually had ministers going to the beer halls in Germany and singing songs to the fallen heroes of the Waffen-SS. We've covered that in the past. So that is who the SSNP, that's what we'll call them now, the SSNP, really truly are. And it isn't going to be good should they ever get independence. And I think they need to be made and called out for what they are. And actually the tide needs to turn, and people need to see that these people are exactly that. They maybe need to ban the party as a hate party. They've done it for other parties. British National Party, no different from the Scottish National Party. They're both parties of hate. And that would be amusing to watch. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this has earned a subscription, and so you can happily press that button and join us as we keep on pushing the truth. And as you see, the truth is something that destroys them every time. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, there are only a few months to go till the next general election, in which case we will halve the number at Parliament and then we'll look forward to the Hollywood elections and hopefully skittle them all out for good. Bye.